What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we have huge news, big reveals here. We got a couple things. First things first, we have the Light Charmer reveal for Lightning Overdrive. That's really awesome. We had the first 4 Elemental Charmer Link monsters already for a while now. We were wondering if/when we were ever going to get Light and Dark. Some people said they were never going to release Light and Dark because they're too good generically, but we've got the light one, which kind of sets the stage for the dark one to come out in maybe the set afterwards, which we'll see. But I'm really hyped to see this here. I'm not even going to go over the effects. You can go over all the Charmers. They're exactly the same, but they deal with their own attributes, so we'll save time that way. So yes, Lina is here. I'm very pumped for that. Now, for the actual huge reveal here, we have the entire first archetype, I believe, called BEARCTI. We had the art for one of the Synchro monsters revealed yesterday, and they said they were going to reveal the effects for it. I thought we were just going to get the effects for just that one monster, but we actually got the entire archetype all at once. So we're going through all 12 cards. I think this is all of them. I guess there is the potential that there's like one more card that they'll save for later, but this is the big bulk of the archetype. So without further ado, let's jump into this bad boy. So starting off here, we have BEARCTI Mikpola. The names are strange. I doubt these names are going to carry over, but yeah. BEARCTI Mikpola. This is a level 7 water beast effect monster. These are mostly beast. I think they're all beast monsters. It's really cool. His attack is 700 and his defense is 2000. So stats aren't that impressive for level 7, but I have a feeling he's going to be more of an engine card. You can only use each of this card's first and second effects once per turn. The first effect reads, during the main phase, quick effect. You contribute one other level 7 or higher monster in your hand. Special summon this card from the hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except monsters that have that level. Or that have a level, sorry, not that level. So that locks you out of Exceeds, and it locks you out of Link monsters. And I think everything else is fair game, so you're going to be sticking mainly with fusions, synchros. Synchros is definitely where this deck is in its main, form. And okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's a decent cap on the card, though, to be fair. And the second effect reads, if this card is special summoned, you can add one BEARCTI monster from your deck to the hand. That's also really good, because this card's kind of a 2-for-1 with the first effect, or a 1-for-2, I should say. You get one monster on board, but you have to give up another card in hand. But then he immediately replaces that card in hand by getting you another search, which is really nice. So I think overall this is a good card. We'll see how much this effect will matter, locking yourself into monsters with levels. So no links, no exceeds. Got to keep that in mind for probably the rest of the archetype here. But that's all right. Okay, cool first card. I like that it's a quick effect too. Also, keep that in mind. Next up, we have Mictanus, BEARCTI Mictanus. He's another level 7 water beast, 700, 1700 are the stats, and both effects are hard once per turns. The first effect reads, during the main phase, quick effect, attribute one other level 7 or higher monster in hand, special summon this card from the hand, and then you are locked into only monsters with levels. Cool, same first effect. Second effect reads, if this card is special summoned, you can target one BEARCTI monster in grave and add it to hand. Okay, kind of wish it summoned it, but adding to hand is still nice here. I mean, it's still replacing the card you use for the effect. And I believe there's no restriction here, so I believe you could actually use his first effect to tribute a BEARCTI and then add the same BEARCTI back to hand. So you kind of just go raw break even, except he jumps on the board, which is pretty cool. It's also going to be very important to note that they're all quick effects during either main phase, so this seems like a deck that can play on your opponent's turn. Really cool. Ooh, that's kind of crazy. You could literally go second and summon these on your opponent's main phase. Okay. All right. Next up we have BEARCTI Mikbelis. I don't know. They all look like bears. I like them. They're cool. It's funny that they look like machines, but they're all beasts. But yeah. He's a level 7 water beast, of course. 700 attack, 1400 defense. They're all pretty frail. Stats are not great. Okay. And his first and second effects are hard once per turn. The first effect is, of course, exactly the same. Quick effect during the main phase. Tribute a level 7 or higher from hand. Special summon him, and then you're locked out of monsters that don't have levels. But his second effect says, if this card is special summoned, you can special summon one BEARCTI monster from hand. meh. That seems like the weakest one so far, but you may just need names in the deck, so this may just be one of those cards that you end up playing just because you're like, it's a name. I mean, look at Drytron. Even some of the lesser Drytrons people still play because you're just like, it's a name. It pushes your strategy forward. Sometimes you just need that extender. So, and it pulls some stuff out of the hand, which is potentially not the worst. So that's fine there. Moving on here, we have some level 8s. They're not all level 7s. This is BEARCTI Megapola. Megapola? How do you even say that? He's a level 8 water beast warrior tuner effect monster. Okay, so this guy's beast warrior while the other ones are beast. And he's a tuner, a level 8 tuner. That's crazy. His stats are 2500, 700, so it actually has a decent stat in the attack, and both of his effects are hard ones per turns. The first effect actually is still the same. During the main phase, quick effect, tribute a level 7 or higher, summon himself, and then lock yourself out of monsters without levels. The second effect, however, says if this card is special summoned while you control another BEARCTI monster, you can target one spell or trap card your opponent controls and destroy it. Not half bad. I mean, technically it's removal / disruption because he is going to summon himself as a quick effect. I just don't like that you have to have another BEARCTI monster, because imagine if this is just going second. Like, imagine a situation if, like, going second, you have this guy in hand, and your opponent goes to, like, activate Magical Meltdown, and you're just like, tribute a monster, summon him. Although, to be fair, the Meltdown will resolve first, but you could say this with anything, you know what I mean? Any continuous, activate Zodiac Barrage, and you're just like, summon him, pop the barrage. The barrage never gets to trigger, and you put the body on board. Kind of cool, but still, I think this could be a really cool card. He's searchable off of the first guy we looked at. Still pretty good, and okay, I'll take it. Level 8 tuner, interesting. Next up, we have another level 8 tuner. He is BEARCTI Megatanus. He is 2400 attack, 700 defense. So again, kind of a little bit bigger in the attack stat, which is nice. Smaller in the defense, and you can use both of his effects as a hard ones per turn. The first effect is, of course, the same as all the other first effects we've talked about. Quick effect, summon, lock you out of levels. Non-levels. The second effect says if this card is special summoned while you control another BEARCTI monster, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face-down defense position. Now, this is what I've been looking for, is one of these to be an actual disruption. I love that he summons himself. The only downside is going second. Like I said, we've talked about them being potentially hand traps. He can potentially be a hand trap, and think about it this way. If you open this guy with 2 more BEARCTI monsters, or actually just level 7 or higher monsters, you could use his effect to tribute a level 7 or higher to summon himself. Then he could search you this guy, and then if you had any other level 7 or higher, you could then use this guy to tribute the other one, and then summon himself and Book of a Moon your opponent's monster. Not only would you Book a Moon them and disrupt them on turn 0, but you also would have 2 big bodies on the board to facilitate your plays going into your next turn, assuming your opponent's not going to remove them from the field. A little bit resource intensive to do that, but it does kind of get you places. So very cool card. I like this one. This one will probably be very important to the strategy, I would imagine. Very cool. And the last one we look at here is BEARCTI Megabilis, level 8 water beast warrior tuner, of course. 2800 attack, 700, so the biggest one here at 2800. Very nice. First and second effects, hard ones return. The first effect is the same as always. Quick effect, summon itself, tribute a level 7 or higher, lock you out of non-levels, all that shenanigans. The second effect, however, is a little bit different. If this card is special summoned while you control another BEARCTI monster, you can target one card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. DD Crow. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I think this card's fine. I don't think it's amazing, but I do think it's respectable. So I think he would be, he works, right? Like, I don't know. Like, he's not as strong as this guy. I like this guy a little more, but he may be a 1 over or 2 of just for that utility ability to be able to hit something in the grave versus a graveyard-centric strategy. So I still kind of like him at the end of the day. So that is it for all the main deck monsters. Pretty good start. Pretty interesting mechanic for sure. They're all quick effects, which is usually pretty strong, but let's take a look at some of the monsters here. So we saw this guy yesterday. This is Polari, BEARCTI Polari. He's a level 1 synchro. I might throw that out there that doesn't make any sense, because how can you add 2 monsters levels up and get 1? There's no level 0 monsters, so how could you do that? Whatever. So he definitely has to have a special clause. This is Polari, 700 attack, 1000 defense. He cannot be synchro summoned. He must be special summoned from the extract by sending a tuner and a non-tuner you control whose levels differ by exactly 1 to the graveyard. Also, you can only use each of this card's first and second effects once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can activate one BEARCTI Big Dipper directly from the deck. BEARCTI Big Dipper. I guess we'll read that in a little bit, but that seems pretty good because it's just a free card. Second effect reads, you can tribute one level 7 or higher monster, so that's from field it seems. Add to your hand or special summon a BEARCTI monster from your graveyard. Okay, so it gets you a monster back from grave, which is pretty cool because they all trigger on just summon generically, not by their own effects. So you can just summon one of them back. You'll have him. He's a BEARCTI monster, so all of their summon effects will then trigger, which is pretty cool. So he seems pretty good for resource management. Like, they all seem kind of like either break evens or minus ones. So this guy seems to actually help you. You send 2 of them into this guy. He gets you a free card on summon, and then he's going to get you the ability to reborn another one later on, which could get you a plus or another disruption or whatever you're looking for there. So still pretty good. He seems like a pretty good facilitator for the deck. Next up we have BEARCTI Septentrion. He's a level 7 water beast warrior synchro effect monster. 3,000 attack, 700 defense. So this guy's 300. He seems like a boss monster. He cannot be synchro summoned. He must be special summoned from extra deck by sending a level 8 or higher tuner and one non-tuner synchro monster you control whose levels differ by 7 to the graveyard. Okay, so you make this guy essentially by sending one of your level 8 tuners and this little guy. So you're going to use this guy a lot, it seems. Very focal to the deck. And you can only use a second effect once per turn. The effects of all face-up monsters special summon from the extra deck that have no level are negated. Oh boy. Oh boy. That is a powerful effect. So these guys just say, fuck you if you have no levels. You need levels to play with us. So this card just says, fuck yo Link monsters. This card says, fuck yo Exceed monsters. You better be playing synchros, fusions, rituals, or don't even use the extra deck if you don't want to have your whole monster lineup negated, at least as far as the extra deck goes. So that's a pretty powerful floodgate effect. All right, the second effect says if your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, you can add one BEARCTI card from your deck to the hand. That is also really good. This is an insane boss monster. That's a really strong floodgate effect combined with the ability to get yourself a free card every turn that your opponent tries to play the game. Very strong. It's one of those things where, like, even if your opponent outs him, you're getting a free monster anyway. And he's a BEARCTI on field, so that if you add a monster, you can use its effect on your opponent's turn as long as you had another level 7 or higher monster. Like maybe you add Megatanus, tribute, and there you go. You add a Book of Moon effect to the fact that you had already this insane floodgate effect. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, and the last synchro we have here is Grand Chariot. He's a level 7 water beast warrior synchro. 27 and 700 are his stats. He has a giant scythe, which is dope. I like that. He cannot be synchro summoned. He must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending one level 8 or higher tuner and one non-tuner synchro monster whose levels differ by 7. Okay, so the same thing. He has the same exact summoning conditions as this guy up here. So keep that in mind. So one of the level 8 tuners and the little BEARCTI guy. That's what we're looking for here. If this card is special summoned, you can target up to 2 other cards on the field and destroy them. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Second effect, once per turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets a BEARCTI card you control, you contribute one monster from your hand or field to negate that activation. That's fine. Normally, those kinds of disruption effects I don't think are that good, but I guess in this case, the fact that it's kind of like the bonus effect, I think when that's like your main effect, that's not that good, but because it's just like his bonus effect, and his main effect is just like, drop on the field, pop 2 cards. Dope. Like, that's pretty good. The deck definitely seems like it was looking for a little bit of removal, and I think this guy might fit the bill here. The second effect's just a bonus. Target my stuff, I'm going to negate it. Cool. Works for me. All right. Then we come up to the last couple cards here. I think 2 spells and a trap. The first one is BEARCTI Big Dipper. It's a field spell. Uh-oh. Once per turn, if you would tribute a monster to activate a BEARCTI monster's effect, you can banish a level 7 or higher BEARCTI monster from your graveyard instead. Very, very nice. Okay, so this makes like the first guy even better, because the first guy would like tribute a BEARCTI to summon himself, and then he would search you for another BEARCTI, And then with this card on field, the second BEARCTI you searched off him would actually just be able to activate by banishing the first one you already tributed, which is really good. So it just saves you a free card in hand, which is pretty good, because the deck, like I said before, some of them are break-even cards, but the majority of them are actually -1s as far as your own card economy. So this is nice to help kind of balance that out and save you some cards as the duel goes on. The second effect reads, once per turn, or I'm sorry, that's a skipped one. Each time a monster is special summoned, place 1 counter on this card. Okay, it's any player's monster. Anytime a monster is just special summoned, counter. Okay. And the third effect reads, once per turn, if a monster or monsters is special summoned, you can remove all counters from this card, then target 1 monster your opponent controls, take control of it. Wow, so you have to have a minimum of 7 counters to do this. You can only activate this effect while there is a BEARCTI Synchro monster on the field. Okay, so a couple of stipulations here. It is still a strong effect. Stealing monsters without even negating them or any like other restrictions is very, very strong. But it does require you to have 7 counters, and you have to have a BEARCTI Synchro. Not just a BEARCTI, but one of the Synchros on your field to do this. But at the end of the day, it's a free field spell. I mean, this is just one of those things where like you're getting access to this card so freely off of your BEARCTI Polari. So, you know, we'll take it. It's a 1 of, maybe a 2 of if you're worried about your opponent removing it, but it's a pretty scary card that your opponent's definitely going to have to be wary about. That if they let it get up to the point with enough counters, you're just going to punish them with it. And it's not even it's a soft once per turn. But all you have to do is just like stack up another 7 counters on it, which you can do if you're playing a combo deck or your opponent's playing any kind of, I don't know, 2021 deck, period. It's going to get a lot of counters really quickly. This card is very interesting. I'm actually curious how well this will work out in practice. Okay, cool. All right, the last spell we have here is BEARCTI Slider. This is a quick play spell. You can only activate 1 with its name per turn. It reads, target 1 of your BEARCTI monsters that is banished or engrave. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, except for monsters with a level. Also special summon that target, but it cannot attack and destroy it during the end phase. Okay, so it's kind of like just like a quick play monster reborn, but it can also reborn from the banish zone. And it locks you into stuff, but it locks you into the same stuff that the archetype already locks you into. So you're probably not playing those kinds of things anyway. But I think that's pretty good. I think this card's just a nice little extender for sure. Just maybe playing through Disruption or whatever. This could be the way to get bodies on the field so that you can still make some of these extra deck monsters if need be. It's pretty good. I'll take it. And the last card we have here is a continuous spell. Or continuous trap, sorry. Here we go. BEARCTI Quint Charge. Okay. Once per turn, you could pay 700 to activate 1 of these effects. Uh-oh. The first one says you can add 1 BEARCTI monster from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, that's pretty good for resources. Just every turn, take a BEARCTI back to hand, not half bad. Which means it'll pay for itself pretty quickly. And some people might look at this card and be like, oh, it's too slow, traps are too slow. 1, the format we're in right now is much, much slower. But 2, all of your monsters are quick effects. So adding a monster back on your opponent's turn is actually not that bad when that monster is immediately going to be live to do his own effects. Pretty cool. The second effect reads, tribute 2 BEARCTI monsters, and if you do, special summon 1 BEARCTI monster from your extra deck whose level equals the difference between those monsters' levels, ignoring its summoning conditions. Okay, so you have to tribute 2 BEARCTI monsters on the field to summon 1 from extra deck whose level equal. Okay, so I guess most of the time you're going to be tributing 1 at level 7 and 1 level 8, and then getting out the little Polari guy. But I guess potentially you could have Polari on field with 1 of the 8s, tribute them, and then you could actually summon 1 of the 7s potentially as well. So that's kind of cool. I don't know how much you'll use that one, but I guess it could come up for sure. But the first effect seems like the main one you're going to be using. But you can use both of them once per turn. So that's, or not both of them, but 1 of them once per turn. So use it next turn, whatever. And the last effect, or the second effect says, when your BEARCTI monster is destroyed by battle with an opponent's attacking monster, you can have your opponent shuffle cards from their hand, field, and graveyard into the deck until they have a total of 7. What? What does that mean? Is that like a really bad evenly matched effect? Like they shuffle cards back from hand, field, or grave until they have 7 cards left, period? Oh, I guess that's fine because it's graveyard too. But to be honest, if they have enough cards in grave, they just shuffle back all the useless cards that they don't need anymore. Like, don't give them a resource in grave. But I guess in certain situations, that could actually be pretty cool. Okay, that's kind of a decent effect. It kind of just shies your opponent away from the battle phase if they don't want to have to shuffle back like a lot of their cards. Especially a deck that's like super graveyard centric, that could be decent. And if they just already had, like, maybe they had a couple cards on field and in hand that maybe total like 6 or 7 cards, maybe they can only keep 1 or 2 cards in grave and the rest have to go back in. They're kind of like feeling a little sour about it. That's okay. I mean, like, it'd be better if it was more like 5, but maybe 5's a little too much. But that's a cool little nifty second effect. But the main effect is the first effect. I kind of wish these two were searchable in some way, but I understand why they're not. I think this is a really cool archetype. I think all in all, I love that they're all just like hand traps. They all just jump on the field whenever they fucking feel like it. Your main phase, your opponent's main phase, doesn't matter. And you have like disruption. You have the capability of your own engine cards being a hand trap on your opponent's turn 0. That's pretty good. I mean, that's like Herald of the Orange Light type stuff in like Drytrons, which we know how powerful that is. So we'll see. I think there's definitely some potential here. We'll have to see. It does floodgate you out of playing links and stuff like that. So, and exceeds, definitely exceeds. So you can't just make like rank 7s all the time. So we'll have to see how actually good this archetype is. I'm sure we'll see some stuff very soon with people actually testing it out. But I think it's a very, very cool start. I'm definitely interested in the archetype for sure. It looks dope. The field spell is kind of crazy, but we'll just have to see where it goes. But I'm gonna end it off here. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think so far? Do you think it's cool or not? Do you think it's good or not? Let me know. I think it definitely has the potential to be really good. I think it looks cool. I'm about it. So let me know your thoughts down below. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't and you want to stay up to date on all Yu-Gi-Oh news. And the peace.